bought a new diaper rash product for me called Baby Anti-Monkey Butt.
We made your dreams come true.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
I'm feeling it in my chest.
As with these ads, U.S. TV networks get paid to promote another kind of product this election season, the next American president.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
The most expensive election in U.S. history has given rise to a new beast, a record-high political ad bonanza.
There are countries around the world that prohibit political TV advertising. For example, Norway. There are countries that restrict it. France, for example. But the United States, we are bathed with these political TV commercials.
Hundreds of millions of dollars are being poured into ads that are not just often misleading.
There are very few restrictions on what an ad can say, short of outright libel. There's no requirement that they be truthful.
But also overwhelmingly negative.
Attack ads that want you to remember certain buzzwords about the candidate's opponents, not necessarily what the candidate believes.
Money, 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 money.
While the effect of political ad rotation on voters is disputed by experts,
I voted for Barack Obama.
candidates' campaigns are not taking chances and buying up as much airtime as possible, pouring cash into TV time slots. This is the first presidential election in the U.S. under a new campaign finance system, post the Citizens United ruling in 2010.
The Supreme Court struck down federal law, and by implication all the state laws, which prohibited corporations from spending what's called their treasury funds directly in the election, and similarly the similar bans on union spending.
That's what we do.
This brought money even closer to politics, allowing unlimited corporate cash to flow into election campaigns, which ads are a big part of. The number of political advertisements is up by 44% compared to the two previous presidential elections, according to the Wesleyan Media Project. And swing states are getting hit the hardest.
We're talking non-stop, 80 days. Presidential ads have aired over 58,000 times in Ohio.
According to the Washington Post, just in the country's capital, TV stations recently made $58.6 million in just 1 month.
I think Americans should be highly concerned. They're going to get their information, their news, if you will, about these candidates from local stations and news stations who are also directly receiving revenue.
But when it comes to the total amount of cash TV networks are making across the U.S. this election season,
those numbers do not exist.
Investigative journalist Sasha Chafkin has been covering ad wars for years and says following the pavements to networks is almost impossible.
What would help investigative reporters in covering the elections is if you actually had numbers that added up, and if you actually had a set of hard, concrete numbers where everything added up and everything was the same from one source to another.
This summer, despite resistance from TV lobbyists, the Federal Communications Commission put a rule in place requiring broadcasters to post their political ad files on the government agency's website. Sasha says this hasn't increased transparency.
What the FCC shows are the broadcast networks, so not cable networks, and they only show the 50 largest markets in the United States. So there's a huge chunk of TV ads that are not covered.
Our democracy.
Take the tiny little fact that there are more than 2 presidential candidates running for the presidency.
There are dozens of other candidates that no one will ever know or hear about because you won't read it in the papers because they can't afford advertisements, and they certainly can't afford the millions that it costs to get a commercial on broadcast television.
And I introduced myself to
candidates like Libertarian Governor Gary Johnson.
The networks arguably might be promoting candidates that would generate the most donations into their campaigns to be able to pay for this very expensive advertising.
Leading to money being the decisive factor when it comes to Americans choosing their leader.
Networks sell ad space to special interest groups and big donors for the American people to see, essentially selling off the next U.S. president just like a brand of soda. Only this time the price tag is much higher. Anastasia Churkina, RT, New York.